farm block in up the valley, Whakaangiangi, and just want to tell you the good news. I'll be going to Auckland to live back in my Otahuhu and back in the swimming pool where I was before in the gym, and getting fitted up again to go scuba diving and go up and down the pool again and get into practice to swim again. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to run our business in Auckland, and I'll get back into shape and start putting things together with our team up there. Okay, and then we can get things cranked up with the land titles and everything going on with our plan to develop hydrogen economy on the East Cape, Bankruptcy Bank, at some stage soon. So I'm going to sort the bank out up in Auckland in my own bank, and then go and see them and wait for the Saudi Bank and our business plan update. So the buildings are ready to go ahead, and instead of going up that way with buildings, we're going that way, and long. And that'll be the new trend we're doing in the sea. Okay, so we're going to change tack now. I've been having a good talk with my brother, and he wants to go into the solar game on farming, solar farming on the East Cape block. So I'll make way for him to do what he wants there, so long as we've got a strip of land and our urupa to Te Pito and enough space up there to have just a small piece of land up there and on the waterfront on the Eka Farm start. Then we'll go straight into the ocean right around the world on that piece of land and leave the land for the Maoris and see if they can match us in the sea, the big land in the sea. So that's where we're going. We're going to change our business plan to go into the sea and that piece of land. Okay, so there I've changed from being on the land with the Maoris. They can do what they can with their New Zealand government, and we'll do what we want to do with the old British native title to the land and sea, and we'll hold the title over the country and in the sea. Okay, so that's what I want to tell you today. It's Friday, and Friday the 12th. I've made my plans with my little crew down here with Rawataka in Rangitukia and Pare Rivers in Whakatane. Just to let you know, we're on track and changed slightly because my brother is going to get his project going with his rocks and the harbour so they can keep their own money and their own borrowing there, and we won't go near them and let them carry on going to see what difference they're going to make. We're going into the hydrogen economy, and it doesn't look like anybody is doing that anytime soon. So we're going to make our skills go around the world as the community of the Pacific Islands and New Zealand, Aotea New Zealand that is, and all the Pacific Islands and their military army. Okay, so there, that's what we're doing, and we're going to kick off here in Auckland, Cook Street, and get that sorted. After all these years, since 2008, I started on that project, and Bayless Real Estate sold the land. I told them, don't sell it because you'll lose your business, and that's still on track. I gave them a bound-up book and warned them, don't sell the land. If you do, you're gone. Even with Ray White's, the East Cape Rotten Point Motel, that's my ancestor there, they sold that land. And now somebody else has got it and gone around what they were doing, selling Maori land. You can't sell native land because only the king and the queen can sell it. nobody else. So now the king and queen are gone. It leaves it for us, the native chiefs and Moai crown. Moai being up there, right up there, the Moai levitation, and they're just starting to discover that on East Island, the egg in Anakina Marae, the birth of the well, and levitation at the time to shift the Moai. They're only suddenly woken up. They are researching the researched. It's been researched out to Makamake planet, right at the end of the universe, my own family, and Tahiti. Okay, that's where the tikanga law is. Tahiti. Taputapu Aotea Marae. And so I'm going to put that marae at the East Cape with our Marangaro marae, the one that the New Zealand Crown and the iwi trustees of Ngāti Porou destroyed. My wano ancestor, Matauru wano, and plugged them with a Pākehā Wikiriwhi Matauru. Bodged and screwed my name up. And so it's going to happen to them. Screw their name up and see what they're going to do about it. From the sea. Okay, we'll come in from the sea and get that land, which is bigger than this land. Okay, we'll do that with the chip coin over the Bitcoin, and we'll match that and see what happens. Our value is £1 trillion straight off the mark for one chip coin, and its top value is 970 million trillion pound note values worth, and that's split down to all the share profit owners of our business right around the world, 256 countries, and that's going to start soon when I get back to Auckland and settle myself down with my friend there in the army and sort the land title out. Anybody got a land title that can match the native title? I haven't seen it yet. So you'll be found out before long where you get your admiralty from and your jurisdiction of how you make your money. And then you're going to have to answer to what we have in our documents. And if you haven't got it, you'll get taken off, okay? So we're going to knock every door in the city of Auckland and check every title on the land, okay? And see where your tax return is, and we will investigate all your native titles to see how you got on the land in the first place. If you can't tell us, we'll seize it back into the native ownership. Okay, tira waikato wharehere manukau. This is the Moriori, not the Maori, the Moriori, who the British found here first before any Maori was discovered later years. Okay, so there, you'll have to defend yourself because we've got our own community, New Zealand, Pacific Islands, and the rest of the world of natives born on the land. And so it's all or nothing, okay? It's New Zealand Crown, the little Crown, government with a sublease, and we're holding the head lease to the land here and all the land right through the world that has a British Queen's Crown and a British King's Crown rolled into a Moai Crown statue that Queen Victoria stole in 1868 and took him to England and claimed his title to the world. And that's our title. Okay, everywhere there's a real Moai, that's us in Tahiti and my family and anybody else that can claim the Moai as their title to the world and to the countries, the big countries in the world. Welcome to the chart. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Okay, I'm telling the truth, and it's for you to deny what I'm saying. So far, no one has refuted what I'm saying about the title, and so it stands truth in law. L-A-W and law, L-O-R-E, truth, and law, L-A-W, king's law of money and land and lease and everything else that's made money on native chiefs' lands. Okay, so that's where I'm coming from. The native chiefs sold their land to the King Crown of Britain, UK, Hanover. Now they've run away. The Crown has run away. The British Crown has run away, and it's left us as the partner, the native chiefs of Aotea, New Zealand, Dutch founded country, in the Easter Island, Mana Whenua, or the original title holder to the world. Okay, so the true story, not made up like what they're doing here in New Zealand. And I must say to you, we're having a hearing. I'm going to pull it back from the 20th to when I get to Auckland, and I will have the court hearing then. I'll tell Andy Devine to pull it back a bit earlier, maybe the 16th instead of the 20th, and we'll have a hearing for Gregory Cook of Ngāpui, who's going around calling himself a admiral, and he's got to show how he earned that title and where did he go to school to learn that, ahead of me, being a same position of a surrogate king, and he can't show any timeline of events to what he's doing, going into South Island and telling people he's the admiral. So there, and he's with Proctor. The New Zealand government, Navy, that's out of business now, and no more Navy, and trying to make that his jurisdiction of admiralty in the sea. That's where they belong, in the sea, not on the land, because we've got the black flag, and he's flying that black flag with the seal, black seal of snakes, that was put there for us, the native chiefs, and anybody that was violating our king's law of the land was that black line, Satan. So he's grabbed our flag, and it's going to be taken from him, as well as the crown maker taken off him, and the use of saying he's a King's Bench court is not real. I'm telling you, people in Ngāpui, you better get rid of him, because this court is going to get rid of him on the next court hearing, and Tania Rameka and David Proctor, the Navy chief, colluding against us as espionage on the native-born people of the land. And next month, May, they've got something to take over this country from America, terrorists, and Israel, terrorists, and Ukraine, terrorists, are taking New Zealand over. They've already got Cindy Kiro, the Japanese, put a crown on her head and offended us, offended me as a surrogate king of knowledge, and power is knowledge and knowledge is power, of who put the titles together to let them come on the land from the sea, will be thrown back in the sea, and we are taking over the land as the authority to walk all over the land and check everyone's title against the title. We've got 448 pages. If you haven't got a title, then you had none in the first place. Your land will be seized back into the British Crown, no matter what. You've got to pay for it, the money that's been invested in it, or stolen money, or stolen memorials like the Maui, and you're going to have to pay for theft and pay for fraud and corruption of the High Court rules of New Zealand and the High Court rules of Britain, UK, and most of all, you have offended us with the Maui Crown King William IV Trust and our High Court rules in the 448-page book, which is what it is, and then we'll enforce it with the Army. Okay? That's it. There's no Navy, there's no Air Force, but an Army that can enforce an original native title that was sold by the chief, Te Waikato Wharehiri Manukau, in 1823 to the British Crown, King George IV, King George IV. Okay, so he was the crown that started all that title in New Zealand, and we're holding that title. We're also holding King William IV title as well for the 1834 Black Line flag, the contract of New Zealand, Aotea, and the British King William IV. His Constitution of 1835 and his Municipal Corporations Act 1835 tied to King William III of Orange, Ireland, and his Municipal Corporations Act, his Bank of England Act 1694, and his Pound Note Act 1694, patented 2-bar, that we have over the 1-bar unpatented Rothschild banknote that's going to be bankrupted off this planet. Okay? And also its authority under Queen Victoria, Australia. That's what New Zealand is using. Oh. Oh, lovely. Oh, nice.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. I got some pudding. Yeah, now I'll close it. I'll keep closing. My niece just bought me some pudding, custard and cake, yum. So that's my brother's son's daughter, is cooked me some nice dinner. I'm at my brother's at the moment and just been talking to him today and what he wants to do. He wants to take the land at Marangaro C12 block, which I had plans for. I've ditched all my plans there with what I was going to do, put a little Dubai there, and I'm going to put my little Dubai in the sea, right around the world, okay? And that's the community that I'm talking about. That's gone further than just the land here and the Maoris. I'll leave the Maoris to do their thing because I'm a native and not a Maori, because that's an invention of the New Zealand Crown, and our our title is the natives of the world and not just here, New Zealand and Maori. But the contract of Britain, UK Hanover, is at Waitangi Marae on the treaty grounds, and we're going to take that over too, the land, because they can't show us the title, and we'll show them the title, and if they haven't got one, we've got it. That's the end of that lot, okay? And any other piece of land that they don't have a title to make money, okay? They're going to have to borrow money, but they can't use the native land. They can go and put their Maori land up, but not the native, because we're going right over their Maori land and seize it if they sell the land to somebody that's unwary of a title they haven't got. Nice. Nice. That's my dinner. I'm in my caravan, it's a real mess. I can't wait to get into a nice place in Auckland, and I've got it today. Okay? Winds has been nice to me. They owe me, because I got them going in the court hearing on 16th, I hope it is, instead of the 20th, for using my birth certificate and stealing the money out and only giving me $28,000 a year. They keep $1 million of my money as their bond. For locking me up and put me on bond for a year, they help themselves to my bond, and I'm going to get it exposed. Okay, of stealing money, then they're going to have to pay it all back, and the Maoris have to fend for themselves because I'm going into the sea where they came from and deal with the sea from the land. Okay, that's what I'm doing next, going into the sea. And my brother said they've got an airport to land a jumbo at Te Araroa, where I come from. See, they either been watching what I'm doing there and trying to do it, copy what's going to happen. You'll see what's going to happen. They're going to use fossil fuel, and it's going to cost them heaps. We're going to use hydrogen fuel for our planes, the first hydrogen-powered passenger plane in the world, and the first passenger freighter on hydrogen that we manufacture in the sea in bulk. Megawatts. Nice. Enjoying this pudding. Nice. So there, that's what he told me today. That made me change my whole plan because he's got our family land block up in Whakangere, but that's all right. He's doing some good. And he's never had a loan before, but he's going to put his plan in, which is good. I support him. He doesn't have to support me because all I do is set in place by the ancestors. Okay, I'm going in alone with my little team. Just 4 of us to make a new community of profit share owners of the resources, not the land, the resources. Maoris say they own the land and being settled by the Crown in Wellington, whose fraud, and the Treaty of Waitangi is not a valid contract. It is not a contract because it's got no end date on their treaty when they have to give it back. You can't give it back to Maori because it wasn't theirs in the first place. Of course, Maori belongs to the Pākehā. See how cunning it is? And they mix their name with our indigenous surnames. Just like Wikilefi Matauru. Mixing it up. Well, I don't do that with their name, with mine, because I don't need to. Ours was fixed there before they came. The Europeans, that is, and the English, the British. So, we'll let them go their way, borrow their money, and we don't have to borrow money because we are a creditor and we deal in fraud, theft of land, and theft of everything. Thieves. They stole all the memorials in the world to take their mana away from the natives. And so we're going to get ours back first, and the others will get theirs back too. Next month, I believe that the American United Nations Army will be coming here, and we will be having our army there to block them out from coming on the land, and anybody coming in on our native title. Okay? Just to let you know. Nobody can come here and take over our country. Nobody. You're an enemy. You can be shot on sight if you are a threat to our country in trying to take it over and stealing our flag, Gregory. You are a pirate, Gregory Cook, and so is Tanya and all the people that support you around the country in the South Island. You have no native title, and you have no legitimacy in your saying you are admiral with no background of a native court. Where's your native court? Tell me where is your native court and its documents. Because if you don't tell me, then you are a fraud, trying to be like your ancestors, stealing. And you know what happened to your cook? He got shot and killed. Okay, he got murdered because of what you're doing now. It's the same as your ancestors. That's why I put you up to it, just to see how far you went. You didn't do what I said from the court, the native court. You went your own way. Took the crown anchor from my book. You stole it from my book and trying to make yourself a admiral from all my information you've been reading. And anybody that touches in my information, you're in trouble. You'll end up in the court, Gregory, with your photo in there, and you will never get it off. No use going to any court because there's nothing higher than our High Court. Okay? The money court. You're getting into trouble more and more because you're saying you're somebody that you're really not. And you've got no court of record, no timeline of events to a king and his king's bench court. And you're just stealing all my information and playing on it with David Proctor. He's a pirate too. You are all pirates under Australia, New South Wales jurisdiction. See, second hand. Second hand. I'm just saying, prepare yourself for the court hearing because when the army comes to you, they can arrest you if you have not got the information that you are an admiral earned position because he's a general of the army and you're not a general or an admiral of Maoris and Pākehās. Okay? Just to let you know. We have our own law and you've got your own law. You must prove to me and our little group that you were given the position you got, because mine was given by Mohi Te Mati Manukau. Right? One of the ancestors of this country, a Freemason. I'm not a Freemason, but the Freemason owns all those documents you got. And you got the cheek, you got the gullibility of a pirate to say someone you're not. And that's fraud and uttering in front of everybody you're talking to, including those Maoris in the South Island and Pākehās. You're all following each other like Pied Piper of hell, the black part of that flag. You don't know it's going to kill you all in law. L-A-W, money law, and L-O-R-E, truth. You can't tell the truth. That's why you will fail to get the support of 10,000 people. See, I already know that Temu knows now that Proctor said to you, Gregory Cook, that you need to find 10,000 people to follow him, David Proctor, and the crooked Little Crown government one thing with the Cindy Kiro, pirate on the high sea, and wearing her own crown on Waitangi Day, 6th of February 2024, and her little flag strapped to the top of our British mast of the ship of Britain. And that's the offence of trying to take over the country in front of me in the army, and you'll get put out. Right? And Senator will be arrested for treason and also for other offences, and that she's causing to go with America, who threatened Japan and shot them to bits and told them, listen to us, we are the biggest terrorists and we will take you out. And that's what happened because they put her up to it. Okay? And there's another word for it that's very, very serious of what they're doing to try and take us over with us here and the law of the land and also the documents to support a native title, where they got that title from. The Maori title and the Lens title came out of our native title of the Manukau tribesmen and their Moriori background from Chatham Islands and then the Cook Islands in with us. Okay? Hongi Hika, Cook Island, and Te Waikato Wharehere and Manukau, the two chiefs on our pound note. Okay? A thousand trillion on a pound note. That's our pound note. That's with our chip coin. That's value. Straight up. And the Bitcoin will not be able to match it because it's too high and it will bankrupt it. I just need to write a mortgage lien over you and that's it. And you have to pay the debt because that's my experience as a bank mortgage broker, refinancing loans and banks. That was my experience in my early days. Why I went into real estate and got tickets and everything for that, and also engineering and other trades as well, to back into what I'm saying on my own 2 feet as my own competent witness. And the judges and lawyers cannot match it. Okay? They'll just say, oh, he's disclosed everything. We can't make money out of that. That's true. You can't make money out of all that I'm exposing online as disclosed. Nothing here for anybody to try and claim against what I'm doing. And Greg, you are playing with my documents and not being authorized to do that. I didn't authorize you to do what you're doing as a King's Bench court. You are not to talk about a King's Bench court that's not physically there. My caravan here, my van, is my court. Where's yours? Where is your court of record? And how did you get to that position? In 4 years you've been doing this, and I've been going for over 50 years. And you have the audacity and gullibility to do what you're doing over the top of me. Okay? You offended me and my little team. And Robert the Car knows the history of Tuhoi and what you are doing with Proctor. You fellas were doing that instead of listening to the court. Gregory, for that, you get the jail and arrest warrant on your head for violating and breaching our court rules. The same goes with Michelle Coco for being with you. Your home guard had something in mind to do what you want to do against me and just think I'm a joke. No, the joke's on you lot. To prove who you are, I can say what I want to be, but it's for you to deny it. And for you to carry on going, doing what I've been doing for a long time, is the offence that you're going to end up with your photo in there and you can never remove it. It will never come off. The same with the 5 that you had the cheek, Gregory, to tell me to remove their names off the court. They got a tongue, they got a brain to come themselves, not you talk for someone else. And your Tamati Wakanene chief is a white man. He's a Pākehā, Thomas Walker. That's his name, a Pākehā, not a native of Tahiti. You can't tell me his carving on his face is a male of Tahiti, because that's what our family is, a native of Tahiti, not England. Your Thomas Walker is from England, okay? So you can't fool Moe. No one can fool Moe because he's watching you, and you're getting caught up, and you're going to have to pay for it in jail, okay? You can go in there for a long time for trying to screw our court, and that's what you did. And you didn't give the book and give Cindy Kiro the notice, so we're going to do it ourselves. And you were no use to us. You did things for yourself and your ancestors who are humbug, crooked pirates on the high sea. And you're a pirate on the high sea too, Gregory Cook and Tanya Rameka. You wouldn't have a clue you told me there was only 2 books, 'cause I know Greggy was right beside you, lying your heads off together. And it's backfired on you. It's backfiring on you right now, going around the South Island and trying to get 10,000 people. I'm just going to tell them you're wasting your time, because Proctor is a crook, pirate on the sea, working in the crooked government that's gone and corrupted our good name and our native title, where that was sold to the British Crown and the Kings, and we are taking over that lot in Britain too, because they're gone but left us there. And because there's no one there, we've taken the position of gone as the head of the trust. Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth especially, has run away and abandoned ship and defaulted. So, Greg, you are defaulted like your queen and your woman on the marae that's taken over. Your Maori maraes are in the gun of paying the bill and the debts. 970 million trillion pound notes for every corporation in the world, including rich man, rich dad, poor dad. Yep, he's going to lose all his wealth because he screwed our Admiralty title and jurisdiction and legal authority of King William III of Orange, Battle of the Boyne, and the War Powers Act that he put together, that act, and we'll put that on your head and on Proctor's head and the government's head, and all those people I've got in there with their photos in our court hearing, and all the books that I've got with their names stacked up for one big shot. And when that comes, it's coming one shot and all over. Okay, take Cook Street and the whole corporation folds up. Okay, the House of Cards is one corporation equals all corporations, fraud and corrupted, the legal system and fraud and corrupted, the High Court rules of King William III, the one that started the mortgage liens off in the first place, and the laws to let you get on the land, from the sea to the land. Now we're going to boot you back into the sea, because we've got the big chief of the land, the general of the army. He's the boots on the ground, and he looks after the native court ground land titles that I've been doing in real estate for a long time. Okay? Been at this game too long for shady amateurs playing around with our documents, especially when I'm the writer of those documents that know what I'm doing, and you think you can do it. Uh-oh. You're going to end up in worse condition that you have to answer to. Ngāpui got blood on their hands for killing and murdering Te Waikato Wharehere Manukau, and Tainui said he's a woman, and so does Ngāpui have a Waikato story of their own, but no one can claim the Waikato River. It's not a Tainui River, it's a Waikato paramount chief's name of his river and his Maungatautari mountain title and his Punga marae in Arapuni. They call Pohara marae, Pua marae. It's the richest marae in this country, with the big rock beside it, and the house that my father-in-law had, they shifted it, Tainui, Iwi shifted it. I'm going to put it right back where it was, in the first place, beside the rock, looking after the rock title, deep in the ground, to claim God's earth, the same as the Maui, deep up to his neck and the rest of his body, under the soil, to claim the whole planet. You see, you fellows are tampering with our contract. Our, not mine, our contract of native chiefs. And I don't see any native chiefs around. I picked them. See, I picked them, not you. And you never found one for me, Greg. I told you, take these 3 books, see this one? Get some names of Ngāpui chiefs, natives, chief natives with a native surname, not a body married name, a native. So the British know who you're talking about, and not fake surnames, like Tamati Wakanini, Thomas Walker, the white man with carvings on his face. You try and prove who his dad and his mum is. Who's Tamati Wakanene's mother and father? And you must tell me, because if you don't, then no one's going to believe you anywhere in the Pacific and the world to be a home guard of this country or any country in the world, and you'll be struck off our native court on 16th. Struck off altogether. That's what I'm saying now. You're struck off. As soon as I say something in this court, it's going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's on as long as I'm here and awake or asleep. I'm still in court session by myself because my team is always there when I want them. They can appear with me, but I can do it on my own. I've been doing it long enough as in this position as a surrogate King William III, a surrogate King William IV, a surrogate King George IV, and a surrogate King Ernest Augustus I. And our king that follows that bloodline is King Ernest Augustus V, that you call a pisshead. He's not a pisshead. He's the legitimate bloodline monarch king of Britain, UK, Hanover, and Westminster. That is the king of my documents, and every other king, like Charles, is a paedophile and fraudulent. One fraud of Queen Victoria equals all fraud right through your system and your governments. That's why they fizzle up and can't last. They fizzle out, and your government in Wellington is fizzling out. That's why you're selling the place to the World Economic Forum. Another fraud, Klaus Schwab, German. The Germans are the worst Zionists out. That's taking the whole world on and shooting everybody up and killing them. Okay? They are the assassins and the terrorists that showing their true colours. And there, you talk for yourself. I'll talk for myself because I always do. And it will come out in the end. Somebody's saying something. What's it? Jamie, how much do you type? I type one finger at a time. Click, 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 like that. That's all. And I got to look at the keys when I type because I take for ages to type. I'm going to get the AI to do it now because we've got an AI government of our own. You got your government, we got ours. And we follow our own rules. And you can't go above our government, the Maui Crown E-State AI Federal Republic Government of Aotearoa, New Zealand. And Cindy Kiro, the Japanese Governor General, now she's a director of their new found company, Crown Sovereign of New Zealand, and she's got a new name for this country. It's called New Ireland, ISLAND, New Ireland. And that's what I'm building out of the East Cape, a new island. That's our own Aotearoa, New Zealand. Right? That's going to be there. And you've got the new island over a stolen New Zealand Dutch country. You are going to get caught right out. And you can't prove how you got New Ireland from a Dutch-founded New Zealand. See what pirates do? They hop in and hijack and maroon you. And so we'll just put the big hammer down on them, the law. Jamie, how much do you type? I've been typing for flipping years. $1 million views. Yes, God's earth. Yep, that's right. $1 million views. I come from a long line of chiefly people. So chiefs don't make money. They only command tribes, but they can't have the money to buy the land because the king put a lease on it, and it's leased until you pay to buy it back because it's got lots of people on it and they've got laws of their own country and you have to buy them out with your law and your chiefly laws. If you got chiefly laws, then apply your chiefly laws to everybody who's using the land. $1 million views. you heard of Wipare? Yeah, so there's a lot of bodgy names that have been thrown together and have got no mum and dad. That's how it works in a native court. You must have a mum and dad and a mum and dad and a mum and dad all the way back with the same surname on your 2 feet as your own competing witness without a lawyer, and no humbugging with somebody else's name that you say in front of me, I know which name came from where. In Tahiti, and that's all I go on, Tahiti, and the tikanga law is in my family, Royal Wānoa family, on Raiatea Island in Taputapu Ate Marae. Now, that's my law there, and the law of God Atua on Easter Island, and that's what I'm doing too, because we were sent there from Raiatea to make an image of God in stone, and then it came to New Zealand in the air. Okay? It didn't come on a boat in the water. That's later. I'm talking about the mana that God had to float things through the air and levitate. See? And the stupid Pākehā said they use ropes. My people use ropes on Rapa Nui to pull the moai and walk it on rollers or something like that. No, it would have cracked. Silly brain, trying to say our story and don't know how we did things. You see, that's our business. And for you to dig up our moai and take it to England is the offence that you're going to have to pay for all that. You're going to have to pay for wrecking my memorials and stealing it as well. And you're not the only country. Britain, France, and all the other countries stole it too. America stole the moai to take it as a goodwill and wealth factor. No. Where the moai stands, that's me there, on that land, to take it back to God. Okay? The Atua, not God. God is a corporate name, God, that's English. Ours is Atua, the spirits of truth, the spirits of the universe, and Makemake planet, at the end of the universe, the brown planet, Makemake. And that's our mana up there as well. And that's where the Pope said he's going out there to find higher powers. We've already got it, you silly Pākehā. All the Pākehās are dumb because they've been researching us to try and find clues and strip the moai and making bodgy stories up about it. It's going to catch you all out here in New Zealand and the world. Why didn't you use another memorial instead of moai? Because he's a male figure, not a female. See? Not a female. A male, God is a man of the land. The womb of the woman is on Easter Island, the egg. Okay, the Easter egg. That's what the Dutch put. Easter. That's what Easter's for, to remind you where this world started, from an egg and birth of the woman into the Milky Way. Is right there on Anakina Marae, on Rapa Nui, in the Tahiti, not Hawaii or any of the other islands. They use tikanga law, and you use tikanga law over here in New Zealand. And so, why are you praying so hard to get mana when we've already got it in us? Hey, why? I don't have to go to church or say karakia. It's in me to go back to those islands, and they'll know straight away. They can tell by me not talking Maori. I can talk only English because your Pākehā British told me, no, Maori is, you can't speak the Maori. You have to speak Pākehā. And so that's why I don't speak Maori, because my head is full of technical stuff and engineering and space and everything but Maori, because you can't do what I do as an entrepreneur and engineer to make things work and know how they work and claim how things work. And when the hydrogen turbines go up, they'll be making bulk hydrogen. It's never been done this way before, because just as well it's been left alone, because that's the energy, new life energy force from Rapa Nui, 12 midday, sun straight up, at 12 midnight, sun and Ra, the sun god Ra, right to the East Cape where I am, at East Cape Lighthouse. That's 6 a.m. right on the dot. The sun is shining in those two places. And the last place, the third place to make a perfectly titled triangle is in Accra in Ghana on the Phoenix Hotel at 6 p.m. right on the dot on the beach. 3 points synchronized to make a perfect 3-point star of the sun god Ra, sun shining in those three places, and the fourth to make a triangle into a mirror image at midnight is in Pakistan. Okay, so that's a square inside a circle of light, and that's the perfected title to the world of Moa. Okay, that's his title, and it's marked out. I'm going to put a Moa statue at East Cape on the bridge, and I can put it on the Urapa and the Papakainga up the top on the land, but I won't because the Maoris will cry and not understand what I'm talking about, the spirit world. I'm going to put him on a new island. Then that's the new island of the dirt in the ocean that we're going to scoop up all that wrecked land that's come down the Waipu River. I'm going to scoop it all up with the biggest dredge in the world, Danish, to come and dig it up and clear the river all the way up and then put the spoils and make a new island. And that's the new island that these stupid people, the government here, those Pākehās in there, the terrorists supporting terror and genocide and espionage, that's the word I was looking for, espionage. Gregory Cook, you're causing espionage, blackmail and piracy on high sea. You, yourself, and your home guard is forbidden to be on these native lands and get into your sea and stay out there because we're taking that title with the tidal turbine bridge legs, big, long steel legs, 4-meter diameter, all the way down full of concrete. Okay, we don't have to put the concrete in, but we're going to put the concrete to hold it solid onto that land under the sea to claim that title all over the world in the ocean. That's the water money currency from the tidal turbine generators on the bridge. 4 kilometres long, we can make it longer, and our skyscrapers are going long ways instead of up in the sky. We don't have to go up in the sky, we go long ways. And our food is chilled, not frozen. No frozen food. No fraud cryptocurrency, and no fraud money, no gambling on the stock market, no mortgages, and no piracy. That's there, rich man, poor man, that bragging man from China and saying he doesn't have to pay tax. The people who rent his property pay the tax for him, and he just uses debt. Well, our credit company is going to liquidate you and your 15,000 properties and turn it back over to the native people that you stole and duped them with paying no tax. You're going to pay one shot 970 million trillion pound note debt on a lien mortgage on your properties and seize them. The country of natives in that country, my army will seize all those properties back into our business. We are a debt recovery business with the army, okay, boots on the ground, with the army. And because you broke our military up in bits, Helen Clark started that off in the first place for the Foreshore Seabed Act, sold the Air Force off, and we were powerless with defence, and slowly chipped away at the Navy and the Air Force and made it with no security, no protection, no nothing, so that it'll be an easy job for the stupid American brain-dead Biden and Netanyahu, stupid Israel Prime Minister, to steal with the Admiralty law of making money by court-martial law and Emergency Powers Act they've got. We'll take our Emergency Powers Act of King William III of Orange and dissolve and liquidate their War Powers Act. And anybody that's out there like New Zealand, like you, Gregory, will liquidate you and liquidate everybody in this corporate government in Wellington and all its corporate businesses, and including Eddie Mitchell, that name, and his Mitchell Family Trust. Any trust is not safe with our King's Bench Court. Will liquidate them and force their tax return because they have to declare all other income, and you must put it, because if you don't put it down, we'll seize the land back into native ownership where you got it in the first place, to get on the land to the Crown and Anchor on the ship mast at the lighthouse closest to you. Okay? So Gregory Cook grabbed that Crown and Anchor off my documents and ran with it. And that's the offence. You helped yourself to my documents, Greg, and you had no authority to speak to it, and you can't say how the Crown and Anchor went together and who did it and for what reason. You can't string all those seals on the document. You've only got one of them. You need all of them to take the title of native. You can't do it with a Maori title or Pākehā title. You just can't do it. Those seals are there for reason of pirates on the high sea, and you're that pirate, Gregory Cook. You'll have to answer to all these Maoris in the South Island and all the Maoris in the North Island, the Pākehās, who the hell you are, following your Cook name that got murdered because they didn't want him selling their land. And you're doing exactly the same as your ancestor Cook. And you'll end up with someone belting your head in for lying. You're lying, and that's your LAW of lying, law against truth law, which is Maui, LORE. And you've got the cheek to make yourself a native chief. King's Bench Court. You're calling yourself a King's Bench Court. Where is your King's Bench Court first, so that I can identify where it is and your court of record and your documents? If you haven't got documents, you get locked up. That's what I'm telling the General of the Army. Check you out, check you all out, and see where do you get your legal authority from? Where did you get your admiralty from? Who gave it to you? And how did you earn it? And what are you doing lying to the people about your position? And with Proctor, the government, you are the enemy of our native King's Bench Court, Gregory Cook. And for that, you get the fine on your head and locked up in chains. Okay, you go with Syndicura in the prison for life because you offended the court and me. Okay, I wrote the story over 50 years of research, and I know what I'm doing on my 2 feet, and you can't say a Cook name. You're taking the Utatonga name, and you're not a Utatonga to talk for Utatonga, because that name is a native, proper native, and not Pākehā. Tamati Wakanene is bullshit. I'm telling you, your ancestor Tamati Wakanene is a fucking white man, Pākehā. Right? And put the carvings on, just like the moko. Put it on, and you're a chieftainess. Now, Michelle Coco, you go and put that on, and you can't say all Tahitian history of moko, right? Or the recite where you got your mana from, and just assume it. You can't just put on a moko without the whole story of your name, Coco. And Coco, where does Coco come from? Rarotonga or from somewhere in the Philippines? Okay? So we don't know you, and you hide away in your little cave and lock the door so no one can see what you're doing. Not transparent. Eh? And Greg, you you in your place over in Paihia, in your deck with all those other pirates in there, and two of our flag with the black line flying over there at Paihia. What's that all about? What are you fellas up to, Greg? I want to know, because I'm going to pull you to bits in front of the whole world watching what I do as a native surname Wānoa from Raiatea and Rapa Nui and Tahiti. Yeah, I'm from the black side of our race, and you're from the white side of our race, and my brain is full of white judges and white lawyers, the Cosgrove lawyers and the Rogan judges. So try that one, for instance, and the Maori indigenous native of Tahiti. Where's your Tahiti in your name? Tamati Wakanene, supposed to be a native of Tahiti, not Hawaii, Tahiti. The Hawaii didn't work because John Maunga was on Cook Street and tried to take it, and the government police just kicked them off because I didn't pull them out of the office. They did. Now we're going into office with the army, and they're going to have to move. They're going to have to move. If they haven't got that title over the 448-page title, native, then they're off they go. Get off the land and go back in the sea. Don't come back. Go there and get the hell out. Just like Africa did. Get off our land. We've got our land in our ownership and control and possession. Right? 9% of the law is possession, and we've got possession. When I got the key, I ring the bank up just like it was rehearsed. I rehearsed it with the ANZ Bank, and they shut my account. See, that's the best they can do. Bring the police up and complain and shut my account down and get rid of my business. You know, I had to start from scratch, and my website, you see it in a mess. It's in a mess because they messed up my website, the original one, mypowerhouse.com, and I put a new one, a spare one, mypowerhouse.world, and a lot of the stuff is gone. And I just had to make this one make do, because I made the website myself, of my own head, and lots of things I did myself. And I don't rely on anybody. I do everything myself, from real estate to engineering to power projects to letters from the power companies here, Vector, Contact Energy, and Transpower. I've got letters from them to buy the hydrogen right back to 2012. The letters are there, and Chris Taylor, the PwC PricewaterhouseCoopers accountant that approved the loan and approved the whole project. Okay, that's an accountant, a chartered accountant that's in that big company, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and certified. The documents are Yu Tai Choi, South Korean lawyer, that's a conveyancer of lands, and he certified my documents as authentic and true, and signed it and stamped it. See, so just he's with Higgins in Australia, and they work together. His company, Yu Tai Choi, lawyers, and he certified my documents as true and correct. And that's what I'm going on to him. See? So there. Where's yours, Greg? Where's your title? Where's your documents like that? And if you haven't got any, this is going right over your head and knock you right out, because you're trying to knock me out, and with humbug Navy, that you bought that flag, the 6-point star flag, to me and called me king, and you said, what am I going to do with this? I said, destroy it. And you said, what? You gave me the sword of Queen Elizabeth's name on it and Illuminati name on it, and said, what am I going to do about this sword? I said, put it in the cabinet. I gave it to the Pākehā next to me, and you took it off him. You took it off him. And that's disloyal to who I said is going to hold it for me. And you took it to hold as the enemy, holding that sword for Proctor. You sort of gave it to me then pinched you back for Proctor, and you're working with him, and you were staying in the house that we got kicked out of Donovan's house, and you saved that house for Gregory, or for you, Gregory. Donovan saved it for you, and the father has taken care of that lot, okay? Taken care of that lot, and put you fellas right in the firing line of the army. Okay, you're in the firing line, Gregory. It's you or me, go. Out in the sea. You or me. You can't do anything about that because he's coming after you and make you open your mouth to say who you really are and who you're trying to fool with David Proctor, enemy of our Maui East State government. And we've got that on your head. How to explain that lot, that you weren't there for us, you betrayed us. You betrayed the Army General, and you betrayed the people who are waiting for answers and solutions to how to get out of your mess. You can't get out of your mess and Sindikuro's mess, stealing our flag for your whakaputanga flag, which is not a contract flag. It was not given to you. Our black flag wasn't given to you, had the audacity to steal it off the chiefs in Titi Marae. Okay? So I'm putting you on the spot to get the hell off the land because we don't want you anywhere talking about native King's Bench Court or even King's Bench Court. You're not a king. Which king are you talking about? Which king are you talking? Don't talk about King William IV because you don't know the history of it. You don't know other than reading my book, and you're not going to use that for Proctor. Proctor, you're going in prison, mate. You are an enemy of our native people. I'm talking about the people born on the land. Any race or creed are exactly equal. There's nobody one-man bands in our community development project and the funding from the Saudi Bank. 17 trillion US dollars worth. Okay, there, that's what we're worth. And I am running that, not you. What have you got? Where are you going to get your money from? You're going to use the land? No, you're going to go in prison if you start using the land and selling Maori land, because Maori land is now forbidden to sell. Okay, because we'll put the foot down hard on your neck, and if you squeal, you'll get worse coming to you. That's fooling everybody, and especially fooling professionals that know what we're doing. Right? I'm saying all the professionals who know what they do, and you wouldn't have a damn clue because your head is full of drugs, and you're full of smoke like anything. I smelt it when I went there. And you are riddled with drugs in you, and you can't do without it. And Maoris cannot work for us in the native court because you'll bugger everything up and make it look like you with carvings on your face and everywhere that can't mean anything to business people. I'm not bothered about that. They only worry about money and the land title. Okay, if you haven't got a land title lease, then you've got nothing. Don't think you're going to get away with the government here. They're going to. All their names, John Key, the whole lot, that's got their name in the court, and your syndicate, and those others have got their name too. As charged, each with what I've said, just under doing 100 trillion, and Cindy Kira more like 1,000 trillion, and John Key 1,000 trillion. All that money and going against the Rothschild banks and to liquidate their business and put it back in our account. Okay? And Eddie Mitchell, he gets 1,000 trillion on his head and put him into liquidation as well. And the army will finish that job off and lock him up. Go after him because he's stolen my legal inheritance in Edinburgh and sent a Freemason there from here in New Zealand and a barrister to steal my documents and my 3 sticks that I gave to the police here. I haven't heard from them yet, and they're covering them up. The police are just as fraudulent as the pirates themselves. In fact, the police, I'm saying, are pirates on the high sea too, and the judges and the lawyers and everybody that works for the government in Wellington are all pirates on the high sea. and they get the bill too. They share it, and the house will be knocked on their door to check their tax return. All your tax returns will be checked. If you don't tell us the truth and disclose where you got the money hidden, and your trust will be seized because you're on our native land and committing crimes of church and state and Zionists on our native land, and all the other native lands in the Pacific and in the world will get the same as us blueprint of what we're doing as a native magistrate court. And you're not a native magistrate court. Greg Cook and David Proctor, you are colluding to defraud us and to exploit our good work of our kings of commerce and the kings who put the law